I guess it's time to talk about the Xbox event.
Yeah.
I got a list of all the games right here from the
Good.
Xbox Wire, the official mouthpiece of Xbox.
Nice.
So
That's what it's there for.
to give us all the marketing buzzwords that go along with these games.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. I didn't take notes because I actually watched like the second half of the Xbox thing live, and then I watched the first half in 4K on YouTube.
Ooh.
And boy, that was great. So yeah, they showed the first game was Halo Infinite. Shipwreck, you're the Halo. I feel like you're the biggest Halo fan out of the three of us.
Of the three of us.
Would that be accurate?
That is accurate.
It's fair.
I played a lot of Halo multiplayer, but I never was really particularly impressed by the story parts.
I probably swung the other way. I loved the story, and I played a lot of multiplayer as well, but
you've like read the books.
I've read some of the books, yes. Several of the books.
I know.
So it's open world Halo with a map and missions on a map, and it looks like there's some upgrade skill points, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a tab when they paused it, when they showed the map and the skill checkpoints. One of the tabs said upgrades. So that makes me think that maybe there's going to be some light RPG elements in this.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's just upgrading maybe your gadgets, your
That's
doodads,
fine.
maybe. Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely, I mean,
Better
has
boots.
the grappling hook as well. I am cautiously optimistic for it because what I've loved about the Halo campaigns is that the areas are so well thought out combat wise, that the linear fashion of them really works well because they're able to place what enemies are where and where cover
they can
is.
do that. They can do that in this environment.
They can do
too.
that. Like Destiny does a good job of that. So as long as they do a good job at that, I think this will work well. It's definitely a game. I'm assuming you're going to be able to play it co-op for story. Yeah. I hope.
Hand YOLO writes in the chat, how do we feel about the changes? Were there it didn't seem like there were many changes. These are minor, just modernization points, I feel.
Those are pretty big changes for a Halo game, though. I mean, it's been pretty static with their game design.
Is it Assassin's Creed with Master Chief?
I don't think it'll be that far. I think it's going to be similar to like a Destiny type, but not as on line with the campaign, I'm guessing.
But, Halo always had, in the campaign, even though it was linear, they did have big landscapes and they would put small battles in the landscapes. I feel like it's not really that big of a leap.
In the past, Halo games have always done that. It feels like you're playing in a much larger space than you really are.
Exactly.
The combat tended to be a little more funneled. It'll be interesting to see how the game plays when there actually is a large space.
And I think they'll, even though it's a big open world, it's natural to think that they'll go and have their smaller linear levels where you go into a ship or a base or something within those missions. So it looked good. The combat looked like Halo.
Right.
The guys were going down awfully quick, but I'm assuming that was just because of the demo. That they had.
What did you think of the visuals? As Darkness writes in and wants to, he said it didn't look next gen to him.
They did release a 4K 60 frames per second stream.
I watched it. No, that's what I watched.
How'd it look?
It looks like Halo to me.
So some of that I think is just the art style of Halo.
Yeah.
Right? It's not as realistic even looking as something like Destiny. Like Destiny has more grit behind it, where Halo,
it's not realistic looking at all. Everything's
correct.
So bright and
right.
Everything's even these like monsters that you're fighting, they're wearing like super pretty armor, like pretty
everything's
blue.
Like iridescent and it's purple and it's very bright. Halo's a very bright game.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. Everything now goes for, if you want it to really look to pop, you go for realism like a Cyberpunk or something like that. But I agree. It didn't. I mean, it looked good and fun, but the visuals, I didn't think it's like this is like a showpiece game for the Series X. It didn't appear that way to me, at least.
Was there one in this showcase, this game showcase?
Oh well, let's
No.
not get ahead of
Yeah,
ourselves.
let's keep moving.
But I agree with Darkness in that it didn't seem like a next gen showcase game, even though it's Halo. But that may be just the fault of the Halo art style. It's like too risky for them to probably like try to go too far in any direction with the way Halo looks. People expect a certain look, I think, and I don't know. Maybe they didn't have. The balls.
Yeah, even the like human characters in the Halo games, they've never been given realistic like features. It's always been kind of cartoony. So I wouldn't expect it, like, even I don't know who Beardo was that was with Master Chief. I'm not familiar with that character.
Beardo? Oh, the guy, yeah, the comic relief guy.
It
Yeah.
was me.
Oh,
It was you. He was annoying.
It was me.
I know, it's all a clear picture now.
yeah. So I think they'll do fine with Halo. I think it will
Yes,
be
of course. I'm happy to play it. I'm
great
looking
launch
forward to it.
title for a new system.
Yeah. Ghetto Sith Lord asks if we think there'll be a battle royale mode. It's got to be, right?
Probably.
Definitely. How can they not? No question about it. If you want the kids to play, that's what the kids are into. These kids, they may not know about MasterChef. They know about battle royale, though. They know about what's that dance, Wombat? The floss.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get MasterChef doing the floss. I think you're gonna make hundreds of dollars. Next, they showed a game called As Dusk Falls. What was that? I can't even remember.
That was the one that was like this, almost like still images that kind of moved a little bit.
Yeah, that was later though, wasn't it?
No, that was this one. This is the one where.
Oh, this is not in order.
This is
right?
not in order. That did not.
Xbox. What are you doing to me, Xbox?
Whatever. What does it matter? This is the one where the family gets kidnapped and then the daughter grows up and confronts the son of the kidnappers. I don't know. You now know as much as I honestly don't care.
It was
I
like
watched
the
this
hand,
with Ty,
the hand-drawn one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or hand-painted. That was a weird game to showcase.
Is Life is Strange like that big a game that there was like 15 games on this list that seemed like that game?
Life is Strange was pretty big, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I think
Like I understand that there people like that game,
Yeah.
but do I need like 30 of them?
I think it makes money. I think that's the key point, is that they can.
Well, they're
they can
all
make
on Game
those...
Pass, but whatever.
Well, I'm saying maybe
Yeah.
those games are inexpensive to make compared to other types of games, and there's a good return on investment, perhaps.
Sure. I guess we'll find out when we talk about the next 17 of them.
Well, so I guess this isn't this is in alphabetical order, I think. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It totally is. Come on, Xbox. We want to see it in presentation order. See, this is what happens when I don't take notes. So then not then. Oh, how are we going to do this, Shipwreck?
Well, just say it. They
Just
showed
say
a
the
Avowed.
name of the game, and we'll figure out if we remember what it was.
Yeah, they showed Avowed.
Okay, Avowed. We know what Avowed
I remember
is.
that one.
They showed like 15 seconds of it. and
On board.
Skyrim.
This game will come out sometime between now and 2030.
Right.
The game
And-
Obsidian wants to make.
And it's the game Obsidian wants to make.
And they're gonna
That's
make
all
it.
we're going to say about it because it doesn't exist.
Right. They want to make it. They haven't
Yes.
made it yet. They want
Just
to
like
make
the
Alpha
next
Protocol
game on the
2?
list. The next game on the list also does not exist yet. It's called Fable. I'm glad that they said they're gonna make a Fable,
it. Right.
but until they actually make Fable,
Right.
don't care.
That is one, like, both of those games are the kind of thing you do in a showcase. Right?
Sure.
Like, those
Yeah.
are the games. It's like, yes, I want to get this new console because I'm getting a new Skyrim type game, and I'm getting a new Fable, and I'm getting a new Halo.
Sure,
But you're not getting it at any time soon with,
But don't
within the
expect
console
it
launch.
in-
That's not what you're looking for.
the
in these
promise
type
of-
things. It's the
Yeah.
promise of
the promise.
what like after you had the Xbox One, where basically nothing was promised as far as here's a bunch of games, and nothing came out for like first party stuff. Like you had your Gears and your Halo, but they had all these licenses that just did not come out this generation. Like this was your showcase to say like, hey, yeah, we listened. Here's your Viva Pinata. Here's your Fusion Frenzy. Like here's all the weird stuff that Xbox people want. And they almost completely whiffed on it.
Right. They knew they had to include something. I mean,
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm excited.
but it's
I'm
not
as
going to be out for
excited
3 years. I'm sure.
But yeah, I'll get more excited when I know what the game is.
Right.
That's when I'll care.
Right.
You play as the frog.
Yeah, exactly.
You eat fairies for sustenance.
I
It's
mean,
an entire game of fairy eating.
I'll take it. Forza Motorsport. I believe that's going to be a game where you drive cars around.
Yes. What's the? They didn't say anything about it really.
No,
That's perfect.
Well, there's going to be cars in
Just
it. They're going to look shiny.
Right.
You're going to drive them in a circle, and that's the game.
Right. They
Mhm.
showed no gameplay footage. It was all rendered in engine, but there
Yeah,
was
that's
no
why I
actual
don't care.
gameplay footage.
That's okay. I didn't want to watch like a 5-minute Forza trailer anyways.
No, all they need to say is
Right?
Forza.
Like, I
no,
love
Forza's
do.
coming.
Forza.
I would
love
watch
playing
it. What do you
Forza.
mean you don't want to watch
It's
it?
just uninteresting to
It's
watch.
boring.
It's really boring.
Why? Because they don't have hats in this one.
Yes.
Are they gonna put hats on the cars this time?
It's not
that
made
would
out
be
of
more
Legos.
interesting if they put
It's not
hats
made
on
out
the
of
cars
Legos.
themselves.
It's not
Right.
on Hot Wheel tracks.
I hear
Not
that
a
instead of
Batmobile.
instead
I
of the
don't
slot
care.
instead of the slot machine to unlock all the different things, they're gonna have a whole casino. So slots, you got video poker, you got the craps, everything. It's gonna
Okay.
be big. It's gonna be really big this year. Can't wait to get those dance moves in Forza.
If
There's
the
a
cars
game.
danced, maybe.
That's a different game. I feel. That's like, I don't know. I don't know what that is. That's what we need though. That's the type. I mean,
That's the whole thing I'm taking away from like this Xbox presentation. And I know you keep on telling me we're getting to stuff, but we're not going to get to any of the stuff that I'm talking about. There was like literally no fun in this showcase.
No, it's
There's nothing.
I know what you're
Nothing what I
saying.
would consider that was like, oh
Hope.
yeah, that like really captures my imagination.
no, that's not true. There was one game, the
What
rare
about?
game.
Well, wait. What about? Let's get back on track here. What about the gunk? That looked cute.
I'm not like a steampunk type of guy. You know
That
what I
had
mean?
puzzles and stuff. It had like a what's that game? The Planet game that came out recently. It had that kind of vibe.
Planet game?
The Planet game.
Captain Planet?
No, something
Outer
on a something
Worlds?
planet. It was
Forbidden
no,
Planet?
Planet was in the title.
Oh.
Something on a something planet. It's
Yeah,
kind of like that
I know what
game.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Lonely people on a lonely planet. It doesn't matter. That game looked like that. It almost seemed like the same game. But why not? Again, the other thing with these these games is they're all going to be on Game Pass, so I don't even have to care that much. I'll try them, I guess. Journey to a Savage Planet. Thank you, Chan Pipple D. It seemed like that. Just
I think the only thing that I was like excited to see, like I'm going to play a lot of these games, that's fine, but the upgrades that they had done to Psychonauts 2 since the last time that I'd seen it.
we
Mhm.
didn't get up
Three
to
less.
that yet.
I don't care what order we're going in. I want to talk about the stuff I want to talk about.
We're not up to. We're not.
We're not to the P's yet. Sorry. Where are we at in the alphabet?
And actually, it's not even in that kind of alphabetical order. It's
It's
weird.
not. Is it under S?
It's
are we
on-
going phonetically? How are
you'll see.
okay. Fine. I will table my talking about Psychonauts 2 to the appropriate time.
Oh,
What are
you're
we
right.
at?
They're in some of them there's a section of highly anticipated games and there's a section of world premiere games. That's why.
Okay, where are we at? Are we highly anticipated or world premiere?
Now, right now we're at Fantasy Star Online 2, which I guess we could just skip right over that.
Right. Thanks for bringing us back to that.
Right.
Stalker 2.
I didn't even see that. I think I missed that.
You saw it. It was dark. It was
They didn't show much.
no.
Yeah, nothing, not much to talk about. Same even with State of Decay 3, which it's that game's fine, I guess. For the second one, but it's more that I don't like survival games, so it's hard.
The graphics looked really nice in that.
But that's not the
just
game,
showed,
dude.
Yeah, they just showed the cinematic.
State of Decay. It's
I
a
know
like
State of Decay.
isometric
The
base
CG
building
looked
game.
really good.
It was great. I wanted to watch. I wanted to play that game, but it's
Right.
not. I don't think that's State of Decay. I mean, you're not going to be like.
Maybe it
hunting-
is.
Are you gonna play co-op Tetris?
Sure.
We're all connected. Let's hold hands, everybody.
I like Tetris.
I like picking out people I knew in the trailer.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was fun too.
That was
Fun times. Are you gonna play Warhammer for Dead?
That did look cool.
Yeah.
They make
Left
good.
4 Dead with Warhammer people in it.
Some of those Warhammer games are pretty fun. You don't really need to
They
know
are
anything
fun.
about Warhammer.
I played most of them.
Yeah. Have you
This
played the
one's
the sword one? First person sword game?
I think so.
I forgot what that's called.
Yeah, I know. what you're talking
Vermintide.
about.
Everybody
Vermintide.
did.
Yes, I did play
Yep.
that one.
Or Vermintide. I don't know. Depends where you're from, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, Tetris sounds cool. I'm so bad at Tetris. I feel like I should have been in that Tetris trailer just as somebody who's like really bad at Tetris, and I could be just crying in the corner.
And your fly could have been open. It would have been great.
Or somebody could be
Now-
playing for me. Somebody could be playing for me while I.
Now
anyway.
we're up to
Yes.
updates on highly anticipated games.
I've been
like,
anticipating this section.
like Crossfire X, which is a legendary PC franchise that I honestly have never heard of, but
I don't know
I'm
what
sure
that
you
is.
guys have.
I'm clicking on it to see if it rings a bell. But
Now, what I saw is that even though everything shown is coming to Game Pass, for Crossfire X, the campaign is not, only the multiplayer is, which is weird.
it's smart. I feel it's a
guess.
good strategy. See how that plays out. Like, let's get people to enjoy the free multiplayer, and maybe they'll throw us a few bucks to play the single player.
Hmm.
I mean, I like that. I like that. Seems fair
Mhm.
to the customer.
All that Destiny 2 news, all the expansions are coming to Game Pass, and Beyond Light is going to be on Game Pass. That's the next chapter, and it's Destiny 2 Beyond Light, not Destiny 3, which is interesting in itself.
They're still fixing Destiny. They're still fixing this game, Wombat. It's going to take like another year or so.
I know. I feel like that game is way past me.
They
now.
didn't need to fix anything with Destiny 2. It's just that it's gotten so involved that if you're not deep into Destiny 2 still, you're gonna be lost.
Right. I'm lost.
Mhm.
I'm lost already.
I like it. It's just, I'm just not in it. So
I mean that was my game of the year that it came out. I played a ton of Destiny 2
Yeah.
and then the DLC came out and it was like, oh, this is beyond my commitment level.
Right. Exactly. I
know
didn't
what,
sign
you're-
up for this shit.
I
mean, I
way
could
beyond.
learn a foreign language or something. I don't need to. I don't need to be studying Destiny.
You can play as an Eternal as you explore and build bonds with the world around you.
What are you talking about? What's an Eternal?
Everwild. It will be available on the
Oh.
Xbox Series X,
Oh, I
Windows 10
didn't- I
PC,
didn't
and
know we were
Xbox
talking.
Game Pass.
I
didn't
thought
know-
good transition there on that.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Just- I thought
yeah.
this was the most visually impressive game that I saw there. To be honest, Everwild.
I don't know what it is. I
I
don't know
don't
what
either.
you saw that impressed you. All I saw was look like grandmas standing in a circle yelling at a deer. That's what I saw.
I mean, that's innovation, and that's
That's
art.
what I saw. It looked like a bunch of grandmas yelling at a dead animal.
It's gonna be. Hold on. What was the buzzword here? That's not good. That's not.
Yes,
selling it.
this was the rare game.
I'm interested in that one because I did like the visuals and that it's rare.
Yeah,
developing
that
it. Like,
that one got my attention. It looked really.
I
thought,
mean, it's rare. I'm gonna give it a shot, and the Game Pass thing helps.
You know what
But-
it should have been? It should have been Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's a.
You play as an
IP. That's
eternal
pretty good.
pinata
Right.
that looks like a grandma.
I feel like Xbox just they don't understand that they have all these properties that people actually are interested in. And they just
Forgot.
keep trying to create these new IPs that are just like one-off IPs for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Everwild. No idea
Oh.
what it is.
I think to me, at least, unless we come across something that jogs my memory, I think that was the most memorable game for me. Everwild. What else?
I'm interested in Grounded. I know that Wombat said he played it and it didn't really click with him, but
It's
That-
another survival game. It's, you have nothing. You gotta build, clothing and weapons.
And you're the size of an ant.
But you're the
or
size
something, right?
smaller than an
It's
ant.
Honey, I
Smaller.
Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, and if you die, your stuff falls to the ground, and you have to start all over again. And you can go find your stuff out in the wild, but you don't necessarily,
I'll have to
it's a
try
little
that one to
roguelike.
see what the level structure is like. If there's a progression to it, it's something that Mrs. Shipwreck and I would play. If it's
I don't-
strictly like we're not going to feel like we accomplished anything,
You're
I
gonna
don't
build
know
bases.
I don't know how rogue the final game is going to be.
Well, it's out next week.
That's
Find out.
crazy. You'll find out next week.
Yeah. Oh, that's an Obsidian joint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
There's the game, The Medium. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that's another
I do.
Life is Strange game.
Oh, it
no, that's a
was?
Bloober one, right?
Yeah. What's
That's
Bloober?
Bloober Team.
What is
What's
that?
Bloober? Bloober, they make a whole bunch of like survival horror type stuff,
Name
like
one.
good stuff. Name one. The good ones that Bloober makes.
The Bloobs.
Bloober.
Meet the Bloobers.
They have a horrible studio name, and that's why I can never remember what their games are.
But this one is travel to an old communist resort and use your unique psychic abilities to uncover disturbing secrets, solve dual reality puzzles, survive encounters with sinister spirits,
I remember this.
and explore 2 realities at the same time. How
Now
many
that's-
realities does your game have?
Well, if you're the other game that they showed elsewhere, and there's another game that had 2 realities, I'm pretty sure within the Microsoft Game Showcase.
Hey, there's plenty of room for everybody's realities.
Right. Bloober Team made Observer and Layers of Fear in the Blair Witch game.
Cool.
All right. Blooper. All right. What else?
I don't know. You have the list in front of you.
The Outer Worlds DLC, which is not free with Game Pass, but you do get 10% off. And that's more Outer Worlds. I love that game. It's great. I don't know if I need to pay to play more of it. In September.
Another thing of like, really, this is the showcase.
Yeah.
You're giving us DLC for Outer Worlds for 10% off. This is the showcase game you're showing.
Yeah.
Right, and that's actually the exception to their rule of everything that we show is available on Game Pass.
Well, I guess because the game is.
Yeah, but
technically
that's-
they
I mean,
could-
I get it because it's Obsidian and they own Obsidian now.
it's also one of the few things that has a date.
Yeah. It's
September
just
9th.
weird because like
good date.
I lean Xbox over PlayStation. Like that's where
You
I
swing
lean.
Xbox.
I'm certainly not like in one camp or the other, but I feel like they got this pretty wrong with the games that they were showing.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that. I hear that. Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
think
which,
you
tell
want to
me
go
why.
big. I think
Tell
you
me
wanna-
why.
Maybe exactly. There's time. There's time.
Oh, this one is actually from the studio that created the beloved and award-winning franchise Life is Strange. Comes Tell Me Why. Ah.
What was that? What was Tell Me Why? Another one. Yeah, that was the Alaska Life is Strange. Right, I remember that.
Mhm. And
Balin-
Psychonauts 2 does look pretty cool.
Psychonauts 2. That I can talk about that now. Are we
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
that point?
Yep.
So I saw that at E3 last year, and I was like, okay, this looks cute, but visually it just was not that impressive. But now it looks fantastic as far as the art style and
Jack Black singing.
yeah, Jack Black singing, and just the imagination behind it. Like that was one of the few games where I'm like, okay, this seems like something that would be fun to explore. Where everything else was just like, okay, this is a horror game. This is a first-person shooter in a dark environment game. This is another Life is Strange game.
Yes. Yep. Did you watch any of the pre-event stuff? Did you see anything about Balan Wonderland or Dragon Quest 11?
No.
'Cause
That
those
was
are
on
both
the Jeff
coming.
Keighley show.
Yeah. Dragon Quest, I believe, is coming to Game Pass. So that's kind of exciting. You don't get many Dragon Quest type JRPGs on the Xbox,
Sure.
let alone ones you could just play. That's also dated December 4th. Interesting. So,
is that it for the show? Did we get through everything? All their games?
that they showed at the thing, yeah. Hello Neighbor 2 was announced.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't really like a super duper strong show then. I mean, we just sort of like blew through that. We hit everything, right?
Yeah.
You know what the problem was? Like, they had some good stuff, but when you look at like the length of time of the show, the entire length of it, and the amount of time spent on the things that you'd be interested in, like, I feel like the big games like that would get people the most excited for the new Xbox would be Halo, obviously. I would say Avowed, Fable, Forza, like big games. And those games didn't really get much screen time because they probably don't exist much at this point. But I don't know. I guess that's not really our problem. But I noticed that like you have a lot of time spent on Life is Strange type games. That's where they spent several minutes on showing those. So I don't know. Like, as people are pointing out in the chat, I don't know that they did a great job selling a next generation console. But
no, I don't think so either. But then again, all the the best games that look to be coming out in the near future are all playable on your Xbox One. So, there's still Assassin's Creed coming out this year. There's still Cyberpunk coming out this year. And those, it doesn't matter what console you own. So,
yeah, it's just that, I mean, that was kind of what they banked on this go around, this generation, right? It didn't matter which one because they all get the third-party games, which is still true. It's just, I thought they would have learned their lesson a little bit more than this.
Have something. I thought they were going to end it with, and Fable is exciting, but I thought they might end it with, and here's something else that's coming this fall.
Right.
Because that's what they needed.
Here's Conker. Here he is. We found Conker. He was sitting back here this entire time.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that would sell a console, but but
it would still get a reaction.
But it would get a reaction. It would get people excited, and it would get people excited in the short term. It's the same thing that we used to complain about Nintendo for doing, that they've done somewhat of a better job on, is, it's good to have the long-term plan, but if you have no short-term plan, I get it. Halo's going to be out. But then what?
All right. Well, let me ask you this question. Did you see any game in that conference that made you think, oh, yeah, I need a new console to play that?
No.
So I don't think I saw that.
I mean, I'm going to get a new console. And
I know
Halo.
you are, but
I'm going to get a new console and play Halo. I would buy an Xbox One X right now if they would allow that to happen.
I understand this. But did you see something that looks like, oh, yeah, that's next gen hotness right there? Because I don't think I saw that.
No.
I mean, maybe that Skyrim Avowed, but you saw 5 seconds of it.
That game's not going to be out until 2037.
I know. I feel dopey even really talking about it. But I guess they must have a big. I mean, I'd imagine they're going to have another big presentation in a couple months where they announce the price of the console and show more games. Hopefully,
and really hype the console, because this wasn't about hyping the console.
Right.
Do you think that they're hurting themselves by doing this so piecemeal? Do you think they waited too long to do this?
I don't think
it's a big deal. Should they have done this the first week of June?
It fucking doesn't matter. They're gonna sell They're gonna sell probably all of these that they have. It's not a big deal. I think they could have done it better, but they probably have another one of these planned in 2 months, and they're gonna show more shit. Hopefully, I mean, it would be great if there was like some Fable gameplay in there, but I just don't think it exists.
I think people want to know if this one was better than the Sony one or worse than the Sony one. I think they were probably the same, because if you ask me what they showed at the Sony one, I honestly already forgot.
Right, Spider-Man.
So,
I remember Spider-Man. I remember Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, you know what? I'll give them this much. They had more to show of both of those games.
Yes. Which
was the smarter strategy. You gotta get. I mean, if they showed us some Halo and, like you said, something like a Conquer, or maybe something that a platformer to kind of like a balance. Like, oh, you played this Halo, it's crazy, and now you're gonna come down with this. But I don't know.
Come down is always Forza. It's always here's Halo.
And here's Forza.
Right,
I know. I'm like, but it had to be something else. Something else. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the chat somebody said remind us about Horizon Zero as well. That was the other one that Sony
Wait,
had
what's
in
that?
theirs.
Oh, Sony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Again, which they also had more gameplay to show.
Yes, I believe. Well, Horizon?
Did they? I don't
can't
remember.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Brute Force. It should have been Halo and Brute Force.
I mean, they have all this stuff that even like as.
Remember how badly they screwed up Crackdown?
They didn't make they screwed up Crackdown pretty bad because it never seemed like they committed to it.
Nope,
like they just
didn't.
let it like languish forever, and then it was the same game that could have come out like 3 years earlier than it did.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah, it does. Here's a good
I hate
question.
to be like super negative on it, but I'm not like upset about anything they showed. I just think they could have done better.
Yeah, of course. Here's a good question from the chat from Christine Liu. She asks, "Do we need new consoles yet?"
I don't think we probably don't.
Yeah, it doesn't. They're not. I don't think either company has done a great job.
You know how I know we don't? This is how I know we don't.
Okay.
This is the thing that they love to push on us now. They're really pushing is the no load times. It's going to be no load times at all. When was the last time in a generation where they really talked about load times ever?
They did on the 360 generation.
Yeah, I mean,
Going to
it's
that
not like it's not
generation-
something that comes up, but it wasn't like you don't start with that.
Dude, there's definitely diminishing returns when you get to a certain point visually. Like, with the point where we're at now. Like, there's just not that much farther you can go. Like, I think that's the problem. Like with Halo, is like where do you go from everything looking like perfectly crisp and clear, and you have this certain art style that you have to hit. It's just
But no load times.
That's where you go, and
Yeah.
you go for like higher resolution. But does the resolution even matter if you're at 1080p or 1440p? Does 4K really make a difference? It's hard to tell. Like 60 frames versus 120 frames. Like, it's definitely diminishing returns at this point. And yeah, it doesn't seem like the new consoles are super necessary at this point. But they coming. Get ready. But I don't know that either company has done a great job saying why we need them. Other than that they're selling them and we like new stuff. That's all. But that's really, that's life.